Questers, how you doing? Got a special show today, a roundtable. And you know, through the years, you become sports fans, loving basketball, or baseball, football, maybe all of them, boxing, beach volleyball, every type of sport there is. And pro wrestling has been big time in my life ever since I was a kid. Dad taking me down to the old Mecca Arena, seeing people like the Crusher and Vern Gagne, Nick Botwinkle, Andre the Giant, all those greats. Big Bad Bobby Duncan and Black Jack Lanza, Ray Stevens. So today we got a roundtable talking about some of our favorite wrestlers ever, favorite tag teams, favorite events in wrestling. Wrestling has had some great storylines over the years, and we'll talk about it. No matter what you think about as far as the realness of the sport, it's one that has been a major player in our entertainment for years, and probably still will be. I don't follow it like I used to, but we're going to have a great conversation. My guests today include Mike Merle, the Paranormal Road Trippers. Wow, they have a great channel. You can catch them on Instagram, Paranormal Road Trippers. They investigate some of the great paranormal and haunted sites in the country. Dave Scott, host of Spaced Out Radio. I've been listening to Spaced Out Radio, been a part of their chat room for a couple of years now, and it's been awesome. And every night, especially during the week, I listen to them from 11 o'clock Central Time to 2 in the morning Central Time, 11 to 2. It kind of gets me through, especially, when I'm at work. We got Miss Sheila Kitchens, really good friend of mine. I've been knowing her for years, and she's about to start podcasting. So, she's someone who's just got a great head on her shoulders, and really looking to do great things. And I think she will do great things. And she's going to be jumping in tonight. And last but not least, Archbishop James Cloud, good friend of mine, and just a powerful guy. I look up to him, and I call him the Clint Eastwood of the Exorcist world. When something's going on, spirits and stuff is acting up, who are you going to call? Ghostbusters might not get it done, but through the power of our Lord and Savior Jesus Christ, Archbishop James Cloud goes in and cleans house. And it's like Clint Eastwood. Well, that's a bad whistle. But yeah, though, we'll be talking tonight. And so just kick back and enjoy, especially if you're a wrestling fan or somebody you may not be anymore, but you remember those old days and some of the older wrestlers and some of the great storylines, and some of the great matches. I think you'll enjoy it. So kick back, enjoy. I'm Roy Washington, and of course we got you locked in. Sheila.
Can you hear me?
Yep.
Okay. I'm. Huh?
Are you going to be off camera and off video or what?
No, I'm gonna be on video. I was just waiting for the countdown.
Okay.
How do you prefer? You want me to be off or what?
No, it's just up to you.
Okay. Yeah, I'm gonna be on.
Okay.
I'm gonna be an interactive, you know what I'm saying, listener.
Hello, Captain.
Hello, my beautiful friend.
How you doing? Okay, waiting for a couple more guests.
I know Merle's coming in.
Yeah. Remember my friend Archbishop James Cloud?
Yes.
Yeah, he's coming in too.
Nice.
Yeah, and I have a young lady on right now named Sheila Kitchens. She's on.
I saw her. I saw her for a brief second. She's kind of beautiful.
Oh, okay.
There she is. Look at that smile.
Oh, thank you.
Look at that smile.
How are you doing today?
Good. How are you, Sheila? Nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you as well. I'm doing well.
I am digging out of major snow, man.
Y'all had another snow today?
Yeah, it's snowing right now again. Like, dude, on my patio, I got 3.5 feet of snow.
Feet?
Feet.
Wow.
Yeah.
Man.
Where are you?
I am in central British Columbia in Canada.
Awesome. Okay. Awesome sauce.
I'm sorry, dear.
I said awesome sauce. I do not. I'm not envious of you because we don't have that much snow here in Wisconsin. So.
I'm surprised.
Yeah, me too. Me too.
Yeah, we had a little blizzard. That it wasn't that bad. Was that last week? Yeah. But it's not over yet. We normally get hit pretty good.
I smell like gasoline right now.
It's all for your snowblower?
Yeah. Well, actually, right now, what I'm doing is I'm using my leaf blower in order to get all the snow off, so that way it's not as much to shovel.
Oh, okay.
Because it's all powder. Hey, Super Quest, are you going to be able to make it to Vegas for the party?
I think I will be. I didn't want to commit too soon. But
oh God,
I would love to make it.
Dude, I'm telling you right now, if you make it, I got the biggest fucking bear hug for you, man.
Okay. Yeah, it's gonna be fun. Well, what's the dates again?
April 22nd to 24th.
Oh, yeah, I should be able to make that.
Yeah.
And I've never been to Vegas either.
Oh, dude. Then now's the time. I would just be absolutely enamored, man, if you could make it.
Okay. I'll make sure I make it then. Yeah. How you feeling about the show, the Spaced Out Radio show? This been really good lately.
Not bad. I got a lot of work to do on the weekend here. It just seems to be getting busier and busier and busier, and behind the scenes, not on the scenes, but behind the scenes. Yeah. And it's like at some point you just got to stop and just appreciate it,
Okay. Here comes Archbishop.
How about now? Can you hear me?
Yep.
Yes.
Excellent.
Yes. Was Sandra gonna be with you?
No, she does not do wrestling.
Oh, okay. I thought she was gonna be on there with you as well. Okay.
No, she's just me. Gotta settle for old Merle.
Yeah.
Hi, Merle. I'm Sheila.
Hey, Sheila, how you doing?
I'm doing fine.
Excellent. And I see
Hi,
we have
James
another.
Cloud, long time, no time.
Huh?
Hi, how are you?
Good.
James.
Hey, how you doing?
I'm doing fine as frog hair split 3 ways.
Yeah, but we've had some classics, man.
Definitely.
So how's everyone doing tonight?
I'm doing great.
Okay, welcome to Quest Nation again. Somebody mentioned that they really enjoyed Dave and I when we spoke on wrestling when he was on the Quest, and I thought it'd be great because we always talk about the wrestlers, and when we had the roundtables on Spaced Out Radio, people were doing invitations of Ric Flair and Hogan, and I thought it would be great just to talk about some of the classics and how we got into wrestling, how we got into liking wrestling, some of the stories that you want to share, if you had any personal stories or some of the great storylines that we've seen over the years in wrestling. Because there's been some storylines that kind of surpassed the sport.
Yep.
So you guys are ready for that?
I'm always good.
Always ready.
You
I
bet.
bet you Sheila's ready to take a steel chair to us already.
Right through the table.
So when did individually, we start with James Cloud. When did you get into wrestling? Around what age, and who were your favorite wrestlers when you started watching?
Oh, geez. I started watching wrestling back in somewhere around the mid to early 80s. And so, it was Hulk Hogan and Andre the Giant, and then later the Undertaker.
What was it about the Undertaker?
I don't know. I always liked him. I don't know what there was about him, but he was a good showman. He had a good little shtick, and I don't know. I just liked him.
Okay. What about you, Merle?
Oh boy, I started in the mid to late 80s because I was born in the 80s. Texas Tornado, Jake the Snake Roberts, Ricky Steamboat, Andre the Giant, all those guys got me into it. Hulk Hogan, I'll be honest, I'll say it now, I was never a Hulk Hogan fan. I started to become a Hulk Hogan fan probably when he was NWO, so like a long time into it. But then Bret Hart came around as well, and being from Canada, and he's from Canada, it was nice to see a Canadian win the World Championship belt. And yeah, the Blue Blazer, he was a good guy. I have a story about the Blue Blazer, actually. I have one. I still have my foam WWF belt. I'm not going to call it WWE because it says WWF on it. And when being probably young, so 10 to 12, 13 years old, you're playing wrestling with your friends. You have your little tape deck with your audio recorder, playing all the WWE entrance music, so you come out and wrestle your friends. We had the Blue Blazer Championship belt, so we took blue hockey tape and put it on the belt, and so instead of it being black, it was all blue. Yep.
Okay.
And then Steve Austin would be my more modern. Steve Austin and Triple H are my guys.
Okay. Steve Austin. What about you, Captain?
Oh, goodness. It goes back to the Hogan era. I wasn't really into wrestling. I had a buddy of mine who was, and, I'd go over to his house on Saturdays and he'd be like, no, we can't do anything until after wrestling. And, at that point up here in Canada, wrestling was on Saturdays, and every now and again you'd get a Saturday night's main event. And, this is way before pay-per-view, and Hulk Hogan was the champion. But I loved Macho Man Randy Savage right off the bat. The one thing I could never understand about that era is why everybody had to turn on Hogan. I'm thinking, after Andre the Giant turned on Hogan for the big WrestleMania pay-per-view, it was just, it floored me. And I was just like, come on, like, can Hulk Hogan not have a friend? Like, why does everybody turn on him? What's with the jealousy? But I was a huge Mr. Wonderful Paul Orndorff fan too, because I loved his pile driver where he used to jump up and then drive the skull down into the mat. I always thought, wow, that is awesome. That's going to kill a guy one day. But in the newer era, I stopped watching after the Attitude Era because, as weird as, not to sound prudish, but I missed the storylines. Like when Stone Cold Steve Austin started that whole what bullshit, pardon my language, where he couldn't even finish a sentence. To me, right there, it got real gimmicky, and I really started tuning it out, and I've never really came back. But I mean, the one thing I miss about the old wrestling days is the personalities, because those people lived their characters every day. They would go to a bar somewhere on the road in the middle of Tennessee or in the middle of Canada somewhere, and they would be that character. I mean, like every night they would go to a bar. They could go to a bar for a beer because it was brawling. Everybody wanted to take a shot at them if they were a heel. So there was a lot of cool times back then. But today it's just so robotic. I don't care about the acrobatics in the ring. The storylines are what makes it.
I agree.
Yeah, definitely.
Sheila, do you want to add something?
Yeah, I was a big wrestling fan. Jake the Snake, Hulk Hogan, the British Bulldogs. Man, me and my brothers and sisters, this is like 9 of us, right? We will be wrestling and be putting each other to sleep. You gotta hold your breath and then you just do the choke and stuff. I miss those days. That, like you said, I miss the storyline, I miss the characters. And it was just like Andre the Giant, like it was like amazing. Every time, it comes on, and it's like we got together and we was just like kicking each other butt. So yeah, the wrestling today is nothing like the wrestling back in the 80s how it was. I haven't watched actually wrestling since, to tell you the truth. Because it's just not as engaging to me as it used to be.
They were more superhuman, not superhuman. They were more bigger than person back then. And now they're just generic factories going through NXT. So you have like the farm league so it's WWE, but it's not WWE. It takes away from it. Like there's been a few gems in the newer era. Like I like Chris Jericho a lot. I like Dean Ambrose a lot. I like Seth Rollins a lot. Bray Wyatt was a genius character that the current WWE absolutely choked and wouldn't let him flourish into being like the creep. He was kind of like not like an Undertaker, but same sort of shtick, just kind of weird and odd. The WWE just let go of 17 people this past week, and they're all jumping over to AEW. AEW, if you watch that now, reminds me of the beginning of Attitude Era. It's absolute Wild West. It's so lawless. It's like old-fashioned style.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Well, I go back as far as my dad used to take me to see wrestling. That was the Crusher and Andre the Giant.
Yeah.
And sometimes history repeats itself because you had the legendary Four Horsemen, but back then there was Bobby the Brain Heenan, and he had Ray Stevens, Nick Botwinkle, Black Jack Lanza, and the other big Texan. I can't remember the other big Texan's name, but they were kind of like the 4 guys running things, jumping in the ring, interfering, and I got a great story from back then. Crusher and Andre the Giant had a big match against King Kong Bundy, and I think Ugandan Giant or with John Studd or somebody, but I know during the promos, Crusher was calling him Ping Pong all the time. Ping Pong Bundy. So the night of the match, my pops take me there. I'm a little kid, maybe 10 or 11, I guess. I don't know, maybe a little younger. They're handing out ping pongs to everybody. And so once the main event starts and Bundy's walking to the ring, everybody's throwing ping pongs at him. Just the whole arena, the Mecca Arena where the Bucks used to play back in the day. And I think I was one of the last ones to throw mine. And they caught him right on top of the head. Boop. And he looks up right in my area. and that was a scary moment for me. I remember I got closer to my dad. I thought he was looking at me, but he looked up in the area, and that's my little King Kong Bundy story. But those were great times, and Ray Stevens was one of my favorites back in the day. Ray Stevens was part of that foursome, and then once he turned good guy, he became part of my favorites. But I remember he was his claim to fame. He's the crippler. Supposedly broke Dr. Hetz's leg coming off the top rope. Dr. Hetz is one of the first superstars to wear the whole mask thing over his face.
You remember when Big John Studd had the $10,000 offer to anybody who could body slam him?
Yeah.
and then Andre the Giant finally did it and started throwing the money into the crowd, and Bobby the Brain Heenan tackled him for the bag of money and ran back into the back. Oh, that was awesome.
Yeah, those are some great storylines, some great wrestling back then too.
You know who was really underrated back then, and as a kid I always imitated him, was Junkyard Dog, with that headbutt that could knock people out.
Yes.
Yeah.
And the way he would growl at the ref, I remember they had the camera right on him, and he's choking the guy in a headlock underneath, and the ref's like, "You're choking him." He's like, "Shut up, ref. Shut up, ref." You know? And then he'd pick the guy up, give him a headbutt. The guy would go like flying to the ground or whatever. God, he was good. He was
his
awesome.
action figure. Yeah, I had one of his action figures. Yeah, I liked him a lot. He was cool.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, you have some action figures, or who else do you have?
Oh man, I had so many of them. If I had them now, I could go on vacation with how much they were worth. I had Junkyard Dog, like those original 8-inch rubber ones, the old 8. I had like King Kong Bundy, Jake the Snake. I had Kamala. I had Hulk Hogan. I had like 20 of them.
Wow, I think I had Iron Sheik.
I had him too, and then Captain Lou Albino. I had that one.
Okay.
Yeah. It was good. Sold them all.
You sold them all?
Good.
Did you have any Bishop Cloud?
I had Hulk Hogan and Macho Man. Those were my two, but I was too, I don't know, destructive, idiotic, whatever you want to call it. And they got broke or burned or something. And so, yeah.
I used to have a lot of the old magazines too. And it seems like back in the day they were always meeting up in the locker rooms and continuing to fight. And the rest of the magazines, it was always bloody and showing these guys locked up in the locker room and stuff.
Yep.
Mm-hmm. The one wrestler I hated back then was Tito Santana. He always looked so fake. Like his acting was terrible. Arriba, and it'd be like you're not even putting any emphasis into it, Or when he teamed up with Rick Martel for Strike Force, that was a horrible tag team. Just couldn't stand. When Macho Man smacked him with the illegal weapon to win the Intercontinental Championship, I was never so proud because I couldn't stand Tito Santana. And then Jesse the Body Ventura always used to call him Chico on the air. And Vince McMahon back then, who wasn't the owner, he was the broadcaster, played the role of broadcaster at the time. You can't call him Chico. His name is Tito. Shut up. Tell him what I want.
Yeah. I liked Rick Martel. He was good.
Okay.
Very underrated.
Then he gained some weight. Then he became the IRS.
No, that was that
Oh
was.
no, those are different guys. Yeah.
Mike Rotunda became the IRS.
Yes, Rotunda. Then his kids, Bray Wyatt and Bo Dallas. They're both in AEW.
Yeah, man. The Iron Sheik I hated as a kid. Now I look back, I'm like, I tweet him all the time, saying greatest WWE champion ever. Ever. I mean, was there ever a champion more bland than Bob Backlund? I mean, the ugly colored red boots with the matching trunks, You know,
Yeah.
how boring was he? I mean, that's the type of guy who literally drives a beige Volvo, right? And he's a single guy, but he buys the 4-door station wagon, right? I mean,
And
that's the
Pepper's-
kind of guy he was.
And Pepper's too spicy for him. But you know who I really liked, and I still mimic him to this day, is Mr. Perfect. Whenever I'm done chewing my gum, I'll spit it and then bat it, just like he used
Oh
to.
yeah.
He was awesome.
Yeah.
Awesome.
What about Scott Hall, Razor Ramon? You know, with the toothpick.
Oh, I did that too. I still do that. Yeah, with a toothpick. I'll do that to Sandra.
I liked Scott Hall when he left. And that whole NWO thing, I mean, how do you take a gig like the NWO and absolutely blow it? Ask Eric Bischoff.
Yes.
I mean, they had the biggest thing going ever in wrestling. They had literally, I mean, no pun intended, they had the WWE on the ropes at the near bankruptcy.
Mhm.
And then they just started adding too many members, and you know, it got ridiculous. I mean, but they had a damn good thing going there.
Yeah,
I like the DX NWO rivalry when DX would actually go to Monday Nitro and cause havoc all off. It's like wasn't staged. They actually would go, and then that started the Monday Night Wars.
Okay.
Yeah.
That was big time drama when they first came on. Hall and Nash, and just these two outsiders come in, and you know, and who's the third man? That those butts leading up to, you know, eventually seeing Hogan was the third man, but that was just high drama. Just couldn't wait for the next episode. You know. Did you see that, Sheila? Sheila.
We may have lost her.
No.
No, I'm still here, just making me some tea, guys. I can hear you.
I think she's on the chamomile tonight. She's on the chamomile.
Did you see any the NWO when they first came into wrestling, Sheila?
And I don't know all the the politics. I just remember the characters. That's what I was in. So all the little politics of it, I don't remember all that. I just remember the characters and just, you know, how they interact with one another. That's as far as my knowledge goes. But you know what? What's interesting, I just watched like 2 months ago the story about Jake the Snake and how this other wrestler, I forgot his name, how he called him up, and you know, Jake was just like, you know, down and out, depressed or whatever. He was on a lot of medication and what have you. And this man helped to rebirth his life, you know.
Diamond Dallas Page.
That's what it was. You watched it too?
DDP Yoga.
Yeah. I said that was awesome. That was awesome. But I never had an idea that could affect your body like that, all that jumping around. And as you see, I mean, because in our minds, we still, I still see them as they were in the 80s.
Mm-hmm.
But then when you see that time has passed like 20, 30 years, and here's this older person that's broken, that's like, whoa, that's reality. You know, it makes you think, you know? Yeah. But that documentary, you guys, if you haven't seen it, you need to watch it. It's awesome. I
like that. I actually met Jake the Snake in 2018.
Really?
Oh,
that guy's massive. I look like a munchkin beside him. I think he's like 6'6" or 6'5", and I'm what, 5'9", 5'9.5" at most. I talked to him before one of his comedy shows. I was with one of my buddies, and we got to speak with him off the books for like 10 minutes. He was really genuine. He really likes to talk about, I guess, his sobriety. And you can ask him any sort of question about the old days, no matter what tea or gossip you want, he'll give it to you.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
I was watching him on Joe Rogan talking about Andre the Giant, telling some Andre the Giant stories and just a lot of other stories too. But he was a great interview. I really enjoyed listening to Jake the Snake.
Mm-hmm.
Did you guys get Calgary Stampede Wrestling down there?
I don't remember seeing it.
Oh, you missed. Vince McMahon ended up buying Stampede Wrestling off the Hart family. It was out of Calgary, Alberta, and it was some of the best and most violent wrestling you'd ever seen. And I remember, like, on Saturdays, it would around here, you would have like the local wrestling television program that was set up in some television studio, like you saw the old NWA stuff, and then you would go into Stampede Wrestling, which would be like really hardcore. They had some, like, most of the WWE characters back then were from Stampede, because that's where they trained with Stu Hart. And then it would go into what they called Maple Leaf Wrestling, which was the Canadian version of the WWF back then. And so it was all WWF matches, and they had this horrible announcer with brutal hair and the thickest glasses you've ever seen. He was just terrible. But the Stampede Wrestling, I mean, that produced the British Bulldogs, the Hart Foundation,
Jake the Snake fought there.
Who else was there?
Jake the Snake actually fought up in Stampede too.
Oh, dude, it was like, let me see if I can find a list here. Wrestlers.
What about Ken Patera? Was he Canadian?
No, he was American.
Okay.
I find that the 90s and early 2000s, mostly the 90s wrestling, probably shaped my current personality, because I was so loving all of their like promos, all of their drama, all the way they talked to each other. I think that's why I became very sassy over time.
I mean, Chris Benoit, before he went steroid crazy, he was like a 160-pound wrestler in Calgary Stampede.
Yeah.
I think Dean Malenko did some time in Calgary as well.
Yeah. And Bad News Allen, because he played in the Canadian Football League for the Edmonton Eskimos. He went on there to make it happen. Brian Pillman.
Yep.
Flying Brian Pillman played for the Calgary Stampeders of the Canadian Football League as well. And so did The Rock, by the way. Played for the Calgary Stampeders, and Wally Buono, the former head coach. And I knew Wally when he was coaching the BC Lions. Like, him and The Rock still talk, and The Rock credits him getting cut from football and having an honest, open conversation for like 2 hours with Wally Buono about football. Is how he became the person he is today, and he credits getting cut by Wally Buono as one of the greatest happenings in his life.
Wow.
But
James Cloud, who did you enjoy listening to most? Who cut the best promos to you?
Oh boy, I don't remember too many of the promos as a kid, but I think The Rock, you just mentioned him. I've always liked him as a person as well, because he has a lot of charitable stuff he does, and he's honest to Pete. When he's outside of his character, he seems like the nicest guy going. And I love it when people, don't take themselves so seriously, and they can be genuine and whatever else. And I guess that's my mental health side as a therapist, be genuine, your authentic self, blah, blah, blah. But I love that. And, there were other wrestlers that could be their genuine self and whatnot, but it seems like The Rock kind of stands out from quite a few of them for me. And another one that was such a sweetheart in real life was Andre the Giant. He was a very caring individual, and loved when I listened to his life story and everything else. And the promos, great stuff.
Mm. Yeah, I always enjoy Ric Flair and Jim Cornette.
Yeah.
Jim Cornette with the Midnight Express chasing after the Four Horsemen for a title shot. Those are some great promos. What about you, man?
Oh, top 3, just off the top of my head. Stone Cold Steve Austin, pre-what, when he would keep saying that.
Yeah.
Yeah. Chris Jericho. I still use some of. If someone annoys me to this day, I'll say you made the list, because that was one of his lines he used in later wrestling. Okay. Who else? The Rock, of course. And if you want to go down the time machine, Jake the Snake all day long. Great promo. He was just so dark and creepy. But that was his thing.
Include Macho Man Randy Savage in there.
That was my next one, Macho Man. And then if you want to have a trip, listen to the Ultimate Warrior yap on his weirdo promos. They're gold. They don't even make no sense, but they're fantastic.
I was looking at something on YouTube the other night, and I guess they had it set up. They wanted the Ultimate Warrior to take the reins from Hogan and be the face. And they said he just didn't have it. There was something he was missing from the Warrior, and that's when they, I guess, was going to give it back to Hogan, and I guess Sergeant Slaughter and those guys coming in as a major ally to Hogan, kind of resurfaced WWF or whatever. They were kind of in trouble. Ultimate Warrior didn't pan out to be what they thought he was going to be, as far as being a new face.
I think there was a lot of locker room drama back then. I think there were a lot of too many chefs in the kitchen, and they clashed egos a lot. And I know the Ultimate Warrior, people got on him about not being a great wrestler. All he really has was the big splash and his upper body strength. Yeah. But he was trying. Yeah. But again, the ego got in the way of that stuff. But Hogan too, he apparently wasn't very easy to deal with. He wouldn't go on his back. He'd only go on his back for certain people, and that's just not the way it is.
Yeah. I'm trying to think about that one wrestler. They said, I'll think of his name in a little bit. He was an English guy, whatever. They say he didn't play no games either. He wouldn't go on his back for anybody. You got to have to really convince him.
Was that Steven Regal?
Yes, Regal.
Apparently, he was one of those guys that was just tough, man, and strong, and he had no problem hitting you on purpose,
Well, he was old school. Yeah.
Yeah. Sheila.
Yes.
You have anything you want to add?
No, I'm just thinking about Randy Savage. We love Randy Savage. His neck was so thick.
Yeah,
like Macho Man Randy Savage. It's just come from like his guts. As kids, we loved it. Can you picture a family of 9? It's 4 girls, 5 boys, and we wrestling one another. And my mom would come home because a lot of us would be knocked out on the floor because we kept doing those sleepers, the sleeper moves. But you have to hold your breath and, and all that kind of stuff. But man, I just really stands out to me, Macho Man Randy Savage. Because he was just so, he seemed like he was constipated. He would talk.
That's the best way to say it.
Man, Randy Savage. He would just come from this place. But those were fun memories, man. Those were fun memories. I just, I wish the kids today could, have a little bit of that, because it's so different now. Like I said, I stopped watching it in the 80s or whatever. Like it was WWF then, I think. And then, and that's when it was fun. But then when everybody started leaving, it was just like the magic was gone. You don't see that magic now. I think that's what it is. The magic.
No, none of them have it anymore.
The it fact, right.
Yeah.
You just don't.
AEW, if you guys watch it, it's the closest thing to the old days, right? Like right now, you'll enjoy it. Guaranteed.
What about Roman Reigns?
No.
He's the guy now, isn't it? But you don't like him?
I don't like Roman. I don't know why. He was like the little he was like the little wrestler that couldn't, but now he did because there's nobody else to have the belt.
Okay.
Like Dean Ambrose took the belt because remember the Shield? Dean Ambrose took the belt. Seth Rollins took the belt, and they could win over the crowd. Roman's flaw is he couldn't win the crowd, no matter what he did to who, what he said. It's because his promos sucked. Like they sucked. You couldn't have that guy rehearse anything, and it would just suck. But as a wrestler, he was good. His look, his image is good, but his promos tanked him.
I can see that.
Captain, you're a rock and roll guy. Who had the best intro music? Your favorite intro music wrestling?
I gotta say, being Canadian, not to rock the American angle or anything, but I hated it when Hulk Hogan switched from Eye of the Tiger to I Am a Real American. I hated it because I felt so let down. Like Hulk Hogan was the world champion, man, and he was my champion. And then all of a sudden he starts this, very pro USA thing and screw the rest of the world, and I'm like, oh, I couldn't stand that. But I would say the one intro that really, really always stuck with me was Stone Cold Steve Austin. When that Breaking Glass came, I mean, I saw it twice live in Vancouver, and when that Breaking Glass, you heard that on the speakers, you had no choice but to jump up and just throw your arms up in the air and start screaming, right? I mean, it was like when the curtain dropped on your favorite band at a concert. You just couldn't help yourself, and that was awesome. Just absolutely awesome.
James Clyde, what about you?
Undertaker. I loved a lot of the intros, but Undertaker was always, as an exorcist, I like the macabre anyway a little bit.
Right.
And Undertaker, he was the fictionalized version of, somehow that I saw myself, as going in and kicking butt and taking names, that kind of thing. But that was when I was younger, of course. And, young, dumb, and full of whatever. But full of crap mostly sometimes. But his intro was always fun to watch. I always enjoyed it, and still like him.
Now, with his intro, when the lights would go out, did you were you there live at any of those?
No, I did not ever get to go to a live wrestling match. We were raised. I was raised dirt poor. We had enough, but we didn't have any extra money to do much of nothing, and so I watched all the stuff on TV.
It just seemed like when the lights went out, just the electricity in the whole building just went crazy. When you heard that boom or that that little low tone thing, that's very creepy.
It is, but I like creepy. But I also like heavy metal and everything else too. So I definitely break the mold on what an exorcist bishop should be. So
I always call you the Clint Eastwood. What about you, Merle?
Oh boy, I'm gonna piggyback Dave Stone Cold Steve Austin. There's something about that glass hitting and watching that guy just strut out there like his SHIT don't stink. That was good. But another one that I really liked, it was Mr. Perfect's. His was very arrogant sounding. It was like classical-y type music. I really liked Seth Rollins and Dean Ambrose's music. They're like, if you want to go current people. But yeah, NWO, I loved. Bret Hart's, I loved. Dude, I was such a wrestling nerd. I liked a lot of them. I used to buy the actually, oh God, about 3 weeks ago, I was riding around with my partner at work in one of our vehicles, and we were we'd go on YouTube and we'd quiz each other for like wrestling themes of like obscure 80s and 90s and 2000s, and Like the Red Rooster. Remember that guy?
He was
Oh,
horrible.
Yeah.
Red Rooster.
What
You
was
like
it? Was
Red
it?
Rooster?
It was SummerSlam in 1980. No, not SummerSlam. Survivor Series, I think 1989, where he came out like a turkey instead of like a rooster. It was so stupid. People thought that was like a big deal. I like the original Undertaker theme of when he first started.
Yeah.
But then you have like the you have the Undertaker, then you have the American Badass, then you have the other Undertaker, then you have the new Undertaker. He had like 5 or 6 different entries. It was only till like the last couple years where he regressed and went back to like his originalness, which I appreciated.
Yeah, Undertaker. Red Rooster. Gold Dust kind of Dustin Rhodes, but I hated the Gold Dust character. I don't know about the Honky Tonk Man. Were there any characters that you guys just really just thought was a little too overboard?
No, before anybody answers, we are forgetting Roddy Rob Piper.
Yes.
I love Roddy Rob Piper.
Absolutely.
He had plenty character and he was just lovable. I mean, to me, he was up there with Hulk Hogan. As
Yeah, he was.
like beloved, one of the beloved characters of wrestling. I love Roddy Rob. Okay, y'all can continue.
See, and Piper was one of the first names that came into my head where I'm like, take him or leave him.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I don't know why. It could have been the bagpipe music coming out. I don't know. I something about him. I just
I always loved Roddy Piper.
Yeah.
Always loved him.
What's your...
The one wrestler that I really, really could not stand was Tito Santana again. I hated him. Could not stand him. He was horrible. But you know what wrestler always used to scare the hell out of me was Terry Funk.
Oh, Terry Funk.
Terry Funk, man. I mean, I watched a documentary on him a few years ago, and I mean, he is just the most God-fearing, loved wrestler in behind the scenes, and a very family man, a Christian man, somebody who is all about his family. I mean, he could barely walk at the end of his career, but for some reason, like the matches between him and Mick Foley and the hardcore matches where they're actually using C4 dynamite in Japan and blowing themselves up. I mean, it was legendary, but every time he would kind of walk down the aisle there and you'd hear, his music playing. He just looked like one mean, intimidating, bad man that you wouldn't want to meet in a dark alley because he was going to just beat the heck out of you no matter what your age.
Wow.
Yeah.
What about the Great Muta? That was a strange wrestler.
Which one was he?
The Great Muta. You don't remember that, the little Chinese wrestler that had with the face paint and used to blow the...
Oh yeah, with that weird...
That green stuff.
Yeah, what about Muta?
I don't remember much about him.
Okay.
One that comes to mind is Skinner. Remember that guy?
Skinner. Who? Yeah.
He was like the redneck-looking serial killer, chewing tobacco, would spit it in the ring or spit it on his opponents with the long, gross, oily hair. He just looked like some backroads hillbilly. Can I get in trouble for saying that? Just the ones like those characters you see on TV. Like, he just looks so gross.
What about the Boogeyman? I watched him on YouTube the other night. You remember the Boogeyman?
Yeah, I do. I like that one.
Did he have worms or something? Have worms in his mouth or something? He was gross looking.
He did, and he always carried around the clock, like for
Yeah.
And then Papa Shango, he was a good one.
Yeah, Papa Shango.
Yeah. He ended up being the what's his name?
Pimpin' Ain't Easy. Yeah.
Oh yeah, he did. Yeah.
What was his
You know-
name, Dave?
Oh my God, what was his name? And then
Harm-
he changed his name again to join the Nation of Domination.
Mm-hmm. That's where The Rock started, was Rocky Maivia with the Nation of Domination. What was
Yeah.
it? It was with Farouk, Rocky
Ron-
Maivia.
Ron Simmons was
Ron
the fruit
Simmons. Yep.
Ron Simmons was a big dude, man. Holy cow, was he massive.
Yeah. Yeah, Ron Simmons. Who else was that?
I don't think Mark Henry was in it.
Yeah, Mark Henry came in after.
Yes.
There was, what was the guy's name?
He was smaller, like shorter.
Yeah.
Mm. What about the guy that used to be around $1 Million Man all the time? What's his name? Vincent, or what was his name? Was he part of that?
I'm not sure.
Oh, you know, that dude is apparently broke now. And like literally they pay people, other wrestlers, you know, they go to the wrestling cons or whatever, they'll pay fans to go. Oh, Virgil.
Virgil. Yeah.
They'll actually pay fans to go get autographs from Virgil, to pay for autographs from Virgil, because literally the guy has nothing.
Wow.
You know? Who is the
Wow.
best manager ever?
I like Crockett for his promos, but I guess I have to say James J. Dillon with all that success with the Horsemen.
Okay.
What you guys think? What you guys think?
I loved classy Freddie Blassie.
Who do you like?
When he would bring Nikolai Volkov and the Iron Sheik,
Yeah.
Mr. Fuji. Mr.
Yeah.
Fuji was badass.
Yeah.
Especially when he tried to hang Ricky the Dragon Steamboat in the ring.
Yep. Paul Heyman was a good heel manager.
Okay.
I like him. Miss Elizabeth was good too as a manager for Macho Man.
Yeah,
Oh, yeah.
she was my favorite.
Yep.
Yeah, excellent.
Yeah, she was easy on the eyes. That's why.
They're very easy for the guys.
The first ever diva.
I guess, yeah. Sable was a good manager for Mark Marrow. Then she went on her own.
Now Mrs. Brock Lesnar.
Mrs. Brock Lesnar, yep. They live in Saskatchewan.
Yeah.
Who was that? It was a black guy. He used to wear suits and didn't he carry a tennis racket or something? Was his name Slim or something like that? I thought he was kind of cool. I forgot who he's managing though.
Slick Rick.
No,
Okay.
no, I know who you're talking about. Oh, what? Oh, what is
Slick
this?
Rick's a rapper. Children's story. Never mind.
No, he wore a big fedora too, right?
Yeah.
I can totally see him right now.
Yeah. And Sensational Sherry with the Harlem Heat. I thought she did a great
Oh,
job.
she grossed me out every time.
Yep.
She
Really?
grossed me out. Oh yeah.
You know, a lot of these wrestlers have podcasts now. Stevie Ray of the Harlem Heat tells the story about Haku getting into a real fist fight in a cowboy bar, and using that, what was that tongue death grip? Used it on a cowboy, and the cowboy for real was about to pass out, and they had to rescue the cowboy from him. Yeah, so it's kind of funny, a finishing move in wrestling that really worked in real life.
Chris Jericho and Haku had that happen at an airport in Mexico,
Okay.
where
They
he
got
put
it-
one of the security agents in that move too.
Oh man.
Yeah.
His name is Slick, just not Rick. They just called him Slick.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, but Stevie Ray said that Cowboy's eyes was rolled back and he was just almost out of there. He had to knock Haku's hand away. So whatever it was, it works. Who's your you guys' favorite 2 or 3 tag teams ever?
Hart Foundation would be number 1, hands down. Can't compare.
They were great.
The Rockers were good, but then Marty Jannetty and Shawn Michaels started butting heads, so they split them up. I was never really into multiple people wrestling. I was always just into singles competition.
Okay.
Like I found Survivor Series boring because it's too many people. The matches are too long. Give me a 5-minute match versus like a half-an-hour Iron Man match because I lose patience or attention.
Captain?
I love the Killer Bees when they would put their masks on.
Yes.
Okay.
Hart Foundation.
Legion of Doom was good.
Yeah.
Demolition.
Yeah.
Demolition to me was because that was when the Legion of Doom was the Road Warriors down in the South. WCW. So the Demolition was the answer with the face paint and all this kind of stuff, man, and that just kind of bugged me. I was never really a Demolition fan, you know. But the Rock and Roll Express from the WCW, they were good.
Yeah.
I liked Scott Hall and Kevin Nash as a tag team, like when they were the Wolfpack. They were good.
Okay.
They're fun to watch. They're dirty.
James Cloud?
Hart Foundation and Legion of Doom were my favorite tag team.
Okay.
Yeah, for sure.
I'll say Midnight Express, Harlem Heat.
Oh, Harlem Heat was awesome. Booker T and
Stevie Ray.
Yes. Booker T, he's still involved with WWE. He's awesome. I think he's in the Hall of Fame now.
I always thought Stevie Ray was a better wrestler than Booker T. Booker T always looked like he was overacting to me. Stevie Ray just looked like he like Stevie Ray was literally the badass. Like you know, if you try and take a sip of my water, I'm gonna rip your head off. You know, I loved that about him, but never liked Booker T.
Oh yeah. Well, Sheila, before you jump in there, you know, Stevie Ray tells I guess a story on this podcast. Like I said, both of them got awesome podcasts, but you know, they were having a match in Big Van Vader. I guess you know, I forgot what the term they called it, but hit him for real. We got a little too animated and socked him for real. And so after the match, I guess Stevie Ray goes into the locker room and he kept a gun on him, you know, and he's waiting for Vader to come in there, and he said he was really going to shoot him. And but I guess as time went on, Vader never came in there, and he kind of calmed down. And when Vader came in there, he really apologized and everything. But he said that's one time he lost control, and he was just going to pop him.
Wow.
Sheila, who? Yeah. Sheila, who's your favorite tag teams?
I don't know. I like the Hart Foundation. And British Bulldogs, one A tag team. It was cool.
The Bulldogs with
British Bulldogs, Dynamite Kid and Davey Boy Smith.
Yeah.
Those are my faves.
Who's 2 people who you guys thought that would have been great if they had tag teams more? Like you, Captain, you don't like Booker T. I love him. I think him and Sting, whenever they tagged, especially against the Road Warriors, they had some classic matches. You know, Luger always seemed to leave Sting high and dry, and Stevie Ray would come and they'd tag team, and they were pretty great together, I thought. Who
Well,
do
I
you
love
think?
them as a tag team. I just thought that Booker T would overact.
Uh-huh.
That's all. You know, I think, when the Killer Bees back in the day, when they would, all of a sudden they'd be getting the snot beaten out of them, and then they'd both get thrown out of the ring, and then they'd pull their masks out and put their masks on, so you couldn't tell the difference between the two. I always thought that was the most wicked move ever.
Jumping Jim Brunzell. I don't know who the other guy was, but
B.
I remember
Brian
Jim
Blair,
Brunzell. Okay.
who to
Yeah,
this
I
day still
watched-
hates the Iron Sheik, or the Iron Sheik still hates him.
Yeah, I was a Jim Brunzell fan when he was with Greg Gagne, the High Flyers back in the early days.
But I mean, who doesn't miss a good old Road Warriors scaffold match?
Yeah.
I mean, dude, that's putting your life on the line. I don't care. 20 feet is high. When they were falling into the ring at 20 feet, I mean, anything could happen when you fall. Like, I'm surprised there wasn't more broken legs and broken bones. I mean, that's just something I would never put my body through. I don't care how much I loved wrestling.
Yeah, you guys just finished talking about Mick Foley. It was crazy what he used to do. And the barbed wire and all that stuff.
Oh, yeah.
That's extreme. That's taking away. I think when that stuff started happening, they were really chasing for bigger, better, more wow with wrestling, because Mick Foley came, like, he was a great worker. He's a Hall of Famer. But then people tried to mimic him, and it wasn't, because again, Foley has it. The 8 other people trying to be like Mick Foley don't have it. And it just didn't look the same as, like, remember when Undertaker and Mick Foley had like their cage match?
Yeah.
No modern wrestler could mimic that energy, that chemistry, any of that. They try, but it's not the same.
But I mean, there's also guys who try too hard. Like the Hardy Boys, they always seem to be, they were high flying and everything like that, put their bodies on the line. But I mean, I never really thought of them as hardcore.
No.
Hardy Boys, yeah. Are they both still with us?
Yeah.
Yep. Jeff Hardy just got fired from WWE for, I think, they haven't said why yet, but people suspect that he may have been not sick, but back using again. So I think they're both. I think Jeff or Matt is Jeff's in AEW, and it's Matt that got fired. So, yeah.
Booker T's got a pretty good wrestling association right now going on too, and a lot of women wrestlers in there.
Mm-hmm. It's growing.
Yeah, they got some great matches. I watch a lot of those on YouTube when I'm at work.
Mm-hmm.
What's your favorite match you've ever seen,
Wow.
Or favorite storyline that included, 2 wrestlers, and maybe no matter how many matches they went through, but a storyline that took 2 wrestlers, at each other.
The forth and backs between The Rock and Stone Cold Steve Austin was always amazing.
Okay.
Anything Bret Hart, any feud Bret Hart had was always amazing. He's very Canadian with his promos, and I think that was part of his shtick, like the way he talked. He was pretty dry, I think, to a lot of people, but it suited his character, so I think that was awesome. Anything Bret Hart did as well.
All right, Captain.
Oh, I got to go with Bret Hart too. I mean, yeah, his promos were very tame and everything, but I mean, to me, Bret Hart was also the last of the old school wrestlers.
100%.
Guys who could execute wrestling moves. Like today, it's so much about power and speed, whereas Bret Hart was about speed and finesse in making it look so. Like today, it doesn't look real. It looks like a bunch of acrobatic bullshit and the punches and everything, But like Bret Hart made the moves look so real that they were, you couldn't help but think that was something that was supposed to hurt or whatever, right? But he was like everybody wanted to wrestle with him because he was just so safe.